The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared? The masses are running, frantically running from their fears, running with their tears, running from their lives, running from that dark shadowed creature that hides deep inside.
Good morning. We're starting earlier than usual, but just wanted to say happy 250th birthday to the United States. Unfortunately, that falls on the same day as Trump's birthday. So we're not wishing him a happy anything. Sorry. We're starting a little bit earlier because I got some shit to do today. I just want to wish everybody, tie up my hair a little bit, look a little sloppy. Wish everyone a happy Saturday. Sunday rather. I don't really watch sports anymore, but apparently the Knicks won their finals. So they're the basketball champions, first time in 50 something years. It's funny, like how people get all excited about this. It's people put a lot of attention on sports and things that aren't important, especially in a time of war. They do everything in their power to distract themselves from reality. Entertainment was a means of escapism, but when you're being entertained 24/7, the world falls apart and people get away with shit. And that's what we're dealing with right now. So, hey, I'm happy for the Knicks. That's great. No shade on the Knicks, but there's more important things happening in the world. Yeah, it's like, what the hell? It's just it's so crazy. Yeah, and there's a lot of silly stuff, and then also whenever I start noticing like distractions, right? There's like, and it's intentional. You have this thing here with let me share this screen here. This is like really ridiculous. This alien meeting with Trump. It's like, what the it's like, give me a break. It's like hold on, let me see. It's not sharing. Hold on a second. There we go. This is ridiculous. Now, a lot of people, this is going viral, right? Trump, mysterious humans, figures, right? Bizarre set of images allegedly showing U.S. President Donald Trump meeting mysterious human figures at the White House triggered a flood of conspiracy theories across social media on Sunday. This is obviously AI generated. Alien meeting at White House, viral Trump photos. It's like everything is the fucking Inquirer, The White. This is like so obviously fake, if it was real, they're clearly actors. This is the Nordic aliens that they identified in the White House the other day, which they really did identify 4 types of aliens. One was alien grays, one was a lizard people. It was these folks, the Nordic, right? And then I guess I don't remember the other one though. Who gives a fuck? It's all stupidity. So it's just like, and it's stupid just with the amount of ads that they have there. It's like stupid shit. But I don't know. It's so crazy. Also, I told Dave that I would promote his show. As promised, Garden State Fest is coming up. You have June 27th and 28th if you're in the tri-state area. The coolest summer con is back. Return to the Cody area, West Orange, New Jersey. I actually personally liked when they were at Six Flags. That was one of my favorite shows. And then they have Vineland, New Jersey, Vineland Convention Center in November 14th through 15th. So, right. So they have comic books, celebrities, pop culture, artists, toys, and collectibles. Thank God it doesn't say cosplayers. If you want to scan it, you got the little scan code right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plenty of time to scan that. And check it out. I like the Garden State Fest. They, before the pandemic, they gave us a lot of comp tables. And, obviously because people lost money during the pandemic, they can't afford to do that anymore. But I'm eternally grateful for that, when people can show their appreciation. I really do appreciate their appreciation. Right? So just to clarify that this whole meeting with aliens and Trump is total BS. I mean, come on, people. I mean, I love my sci-fi buddies out there, but I mean, this is clearly, totally, utterly bullshit. It's like, yeah, there's aliens and they're, I mean, the only thing that makes sense about this is that they're white because it seems that, and they're the colors of like Nazis, right? And they get like this European colonial thing going on here. The only thing that makes sense to me about this is that they're white because colonialism, white society has been destroying nature and the planet Earth since the Tower of Babel, right? It's like since forever, right? They like to depict themselves as biblical characters, even though it's the Middle East. They even coined that term Middle East. It's the middle from where? So yeah, that's please don't believe that. And then there was this cool artist, son's his name Mott. I forget. He gave me these at a show. These are beautiful. When you buy his in the underground book, it was a very clever idea, and these are all originals. You can see the back; it's like Sharpie, right, or like Chinese brush. He has this stack of little doodles, and then he has this little book, and then I think it's clever. I love to see how people do different types of ideas when it comes to tabling at a show. People, the buttons, the stickers, the little zines. Like when I was younger, I was thinking about going back and doing this stuff because it's kind of fun. It's affordable. You get the little zine here, little zine. So I think that this is pretty simple and fast to draw. This is like the next generation of comic book artists are going back to this old style of, we used to go to Kinko's or Copycats and make our comic books that way with a saddle stitch thing. I should tell them they didn't do saddle stitch. They have an actual regular stapler stapling that. So if I noticed that, I would have mentioned it to them. But you get an actual saddle stitch stapler to create these, which are fun to do and they're cheap but inexpensive. And in today's economy, if you want to get your creations out there, super fun to do. This is Minty's tea and spicy mache pache. Okay. All right. So promoting the indies today. And here we are, Miguel Guerrero. Guerra. Here we go.
Hey, how you doing, man?
How's it going?
Oh, that's good. That was good. Yep. So,
what time is it over there, by the way?
it's like 2:43.
Oh,
in
it's
the afternoon.
Are you super busy at this moment, or no?
Oh, it's Sunday, chilling.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Sorry for the early start. I just
Early for you, not for me.
yeah, that's right. Just figured a lot of stuff going on. So I'm like
Oh
trying to
yeah, always.
navigate. So if I don't want to skip the show, I don't like skipping it. This has become my Sunday ritual, my meditation. You know, it's like I don't know about you, but I feel like
Yep.
my Sunday is not fulfilled without this. You
Yep.
know, I was just talking about this guy over here. Did you see this?
Yeah, I know it's making the rounds.
It's like something out of Star Trek. You know, it's like
The supposed tall whites.
right. It's such ridiculous. It reminds me of the aliens from the Hellboy movie, the second Hellboy movie. Do you remember that?
Oh, they were elves though.
Oh, they were elves. Yeah,
Yeah, they were elves. Yeah, it does remind me of that actually.
yeah. Or like now you say elves. Legolas, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They were elves or fairies or something in Hellboy. Hellboy doesn't do aliens.
Yeah. It's like, let me see if I can find them. It's like,
It's ridiculous. And everyone's so distracted by so many things. You know, people cheering on that Elon Musk ended up being the first trillionaire, which
who gives a shit? Tax
I
the
mean,
shit out of him. That's all on tax dollars. He's only able to do that because of taxes. You know, our tax dollars.
and because, I mean, his company went, well, it's trading publicly, even though it's private.
Right.
But here's the thing. 85% of his future earnings he projected would be from AI.
Right.
There's an AI bubble going right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's pushing to have AI satellites with data centers, which everyone thinks it's a great idea, but when you actually break down the science to it, it's actually kind of stupid.
Right.
Just because you put it up in space and it's cold doesn't mean it cool off. The
Right.
reason it can cool off here is because of air and water.
There's no air.
Yeah. And then it's so many things there. So
Right.
he's just fleeced a whole bunch of people again.
No, I believe NASA is a complete scam. You know, it's a tax scam. Oh, look at this shit. This is what popped up. That's our our little aliens at the White House right there. It's like,
Those are ones that Malcolm X called the blue-eyed devils.
yes.
So maybe the ministers are not too far off calling them demons, right?
Right.
Which is also
What
nonsense.
devil? I mean, they are the colonists that are destroying nature, the planet, and indigenous peoples. So I wouldn't believe it, but it's total bullshit. But yeah, I mean, NASA is a complete scam. Not just from the boot prints that are rigid, and then you see the suits with the smooth bottom. There's all this evidence, even when Time magazine came out in 1968. People got to realize this whole thing about NASA conspiracy not going to the moon, that started when they went to the moon, these conspiracies. That's how old they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of Time magazine with the markers and all that stuff, the cross markers being behind the body when it was on the lens, and things obviously being a collage, no stars in the sky, all that stuff. Yeah, it's so weird. It's like, and then the inconsistencies when they first interviewed, they're like, "Oh, there's tons of stars in the sky," and then the other astronauts like, "No, there was no stars." It's like, and that was like on live TV back in the '60s when they returned from Earth. You know.
Well, how can I put it? Our government has lied so much.
Yeah.
That it, as time goes on, it raises more and more doubt of
Yeah.
anything. And that's a problem. Like, people don't understand. Like, they sort of view conspiracy theories as true or not true.
Right.
Which I think it should be more of like a meter on trust.
Yes.
Someone who's saying something isn't true is not necessarily just challenging. It's just sort of like saying you're calling the government liars.
Right.
And there's a break of trust.
Right.
And say they did make it to the moon. You know, and I tend to believe that they did, right?
Mhm.
But there's so many things they've lied about
Yeah,
that
exactly.
even me, I'm like, well,
Even this last mission, as that ship went off, you saw the ejection pods go off as the ship was going up.
yeah. And a lot of it is to keep the cultural supremacy
Right.
around the world.
Actually, exactly. And then also, I don't know if you saw when India went to space and they showed the footage. It looked like early 2000s CGI when they landed the little rover into space. I was like, that is clearly a virtually like early CGI thing. So it's almost like I think this is a way they steal taxes from the people. They take tax money, fund it for NASA, right? And all these guys were ex-Nazis anyway, right? Most of these people that funded NASA. They build a rocket. You know, they build many rockets. There's a lot of rockets that we don't see televised that blow
Mhm.
up. Just and every time they blow up, it's back to the drawing board. Right? It's like,
Yep.
didn't you have this formula set ready? Like Tesla and Bezos's last rockets blew up, you know? They get 10 billion tax dollars for that, right? And then you get insurance money when the rockets blow up. And then you get
Interesting.
more tax dollars again to rebuild. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I agree with you. There is obviously a scam going on. And this whole AI centers in space, I think, is another. I think the AI centers are scam because so
mhm,
many of them aren't hooked up. I
mhm,
think they're just a way to get investors excited, the
mhm,
suckers.
mhm.
And then when it pops, they're like, oh well, we
Right.
tried.
Me too.
And it's like the housing bubble,
Right.
you know. So there's a lot of scamming going
Well,
on.
we've been going to space for nearly 50 years, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, even before we went to the moon, we were sending little test things to space, right? Satellites, what have you. And even the whole satellite thing, to some degree, is bullshit. Because why is it when we see the Earth, there's supposed to be like hundreds of satellites out in space. Whenever they show pictures of the Earth, there's no satellites.
Well,
Floating
I would guess it depends on the orbit that they're in
around.
as opposed to the orbit of the satellites.
Right. But it's like, and then I don't know if you remember in the Russian Ukraine war
Mhm.
that at one point Vladimir Putin threatened to blow up this underground like tube thing underwater in the ocean, and everyone freaked out. They backed off because that's where most of our cyber, all our computers, all our wiring, all the cables for
The fiber optics, yeah.
fiber optics, everything's under that. Everything that connects us internet wise is actually in the ocean. So
Yeah.
everything's in the ocean.
Well,
Why is it space?
here's a kill. Like Tesla's supposed oh, not Tesla. Starlink actually does provide service,
Mhm.
internet service, and actually that's been pissing off the Russians because they have threatened to shoot down those satellites too.
Yeah, yeah.
The other problem is that Tesla, I keep saying Tesla. Um,
The fake
Starlink satellites fall like at a crazy rate, like 2 or 3 a day.
right, right.
So, because they get burnt up by radiation. Here's the other reason why it's not
Oh,
practical.
so it's low orbit.
Yeah, it's low orbit.
Yeah,
So, and you get a solar flare, that shit's fried.
yeah. I was thinking about everything that's been going on lately with Iran and everything. And this
Mhm.
one book, I'm sure you've read this. It's a classic. It was by Dave Gibbons and Frank Miller. Give Me Liberty.
Mm.
You know, it's an American Dream. So I mean, I actually found that I had a signed copy, but I don't know by who because it's signed SAJ. So I don't know who SAJ is.
CJ.
I don't know. But I mean, it goes into this whole thing about the human hybrids, kind of like the thing that Elon Musk is doing about putting chips in people's brains. It's like,
Mhm.
and you can tell it's a little inspired by Akira. You know,
Probably.
you know, you have like the test subject, you got the different wars going on. You know, and you got the same. I mean, the arts. I love Dave Gibbons. I don't know if you were a fan. This was less static than Watchmen, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of broke away from that 6 panel grid. But I mean, the whole perception of how the Brits see America is pretty spot on with the bullshit, you know, the consumerism, the consumption, the Bob's Big Boy. It's like,
Yeah, they
I mean, if this is,
yeah, well, they tend to
yeah,
uh, they always miss out the racial element though.
yeah, the alt right, basically, which are like Nazis in space.
Well, talking about the alt-right, the Brits have it too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's that big thing in British occupied Ireland
Yes.
this past week with the protesters. Well, they weren't protesters. They were hate-filled people who went and started burning down people's houses,
Right.
and definitely racially motivated.
Right. Exactly.
And, some people died from that. So
Yeah.
we don't fall too far from that tree, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's because it comes from that whole white superiority complex. I mean, you got this guy Quayle who was probably like imaging Dan Quayle, but
Oh God,
basically like
Mr. Potato.
yeah, like the ego of Trump, basically. Like he wants to he puts his face on Mount Rushmore. It's like, I mean, I think this is like, like a prophecy of Trump. But it's generic in a sense because it's every Republican that's ever come out and with their like little Christian ideology with a hint of Nazism in there and fascism and
It's all since the beginning.
yeah.
You'll have people who, and see, here's the thing. I don't fault those who are running stuff to be like that and to get people to, because obviously they got a lot invested.
Right.
I mean, do I like it? No. But I do fault people who make 15 or less or slightly more $1,000, or even if you make 100,000 or 200,000 for going along with their bullshit.
Right. Exactly.
Because in the long run, it does not, and even in the short run, it does not.
Right.
It's not for your best interest.
Right.
But
I mean, how is it we have on this planet a trillionaire, a billionaire, a millionaire, when people are not can't even make freaking minimum wage? Some states' minimum wage is $8 and change. I mean, if you're in a big city, you're getting $15. It's still nothing. I mean, when I was a teenager, that was a long time ago, right? You're talking about over 33 years ago, right? It's like 32 years ago. They didn't want to put the Masonic symbolism in there, but give or take 32, 33 years. The minimum wage in Baltimore, when I lived in Baltimore, was $4.25. In New York, I think it was like $6.25. But the average person, the average job you can get was above minimum wage, which was $10 in New York, right? In Baltimore, it was $4.25. Period. That was it. No one was making more than that unless you had a college.
Wow.
You had to have a bachelor's to make $10. That was 32 years ago. How is it that from the 1990s till now, it only went up $5?
Well, it's simple. They did several different things, right? So you got the Reagan era. He came in. He crushed the unions. Whatever unions we had, they're gone. The unions used to be the ones that scare the crap out of the rich.
Yeah.
Even if they're mob infested.
Right. They're mob. Right. They basically have the Genovese family and all these other families killing each other.
Right. But they scared the crap out of the others. And then you had the introduction of, the loosening of credit cards. Right. So most people buy shit on credit.
Yeah.
And then, then slowly they start to scare the crap out of people with automation. Don't you dare complain, because look at the car industry. This is why I don't freak out about AI, because it's just another round of this crap that we've been hearing since we were kids. Oh,
Yeah.
they're going to automate shit. And then
Oh, we
they
have so much
offshored shit.
automated already.
What's that?
We have so much automated already, and we've had AI with us for at least 20 something years. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And then offshoring all the manufacturing, then jacking the prices on stuff that they were making for next to nothing.
Right.
And they're saying, oh, you have to compete with whoever it is in another country.
Mhm.
But those other countries, the cost of stuff is lower. So even if they've got a lower minimum wage, things balance out. So when someone says we're making a killer profit, Wall Street just made a bunch of killer profits, that means it's off of cheap labor and they're inflating the prices. So that's
Right.
taking more of your money.
Exactly.
But we're like, oh, that's class envy. No, it's just basic freaking like accounting. Their profits are our inflation,
Hmm.
right? And on top of that, our cheaper labor is their profit because they add that onto the cost of shit. And we
Right.
don't look at it in terms of accounting like that. They'll
Right.
feed us stupid
That's
myths like,
right.
oh, well, think of the government like a household. A household. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Bullshit.
I don't have a printing press.
Right.
If I did, I'd go to jail.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So
Right.
it's so we're all sort of full of
We
these
can't just
things.
print money out of the air like they do without.
Exactly. But that's what governments do and have done forever. They print it
Yeah.
out of thin air. I
Yeah.
mean, you could attach it to maybe something like gold or productivity to
Right.
like, how productive the country is.
Right.
But they basically, the 30 some trillion dollars that we have in debt
Hmm.
isn't even mostly owned. I think like 7 trillion of it is owned by foreign countries. The rest of it's owned by Americans.
Right.
So it literally owes it to itself.
Right. And it reminds me of the housing market back in 2008, that whole bubble that exploded, and they were just basically no money down, you can get a house. No money. Oh, you have low mortgage rates. You're paying like 1,200 a month, whatever, and then the bubble explodes. Your mortgage that was between 1,000 to 1,200, depending on what state you lived in, just
Yep.
jumped to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, and
Yep.
people lost their houses. And then they rewarded the people that created this thing by, oh, you have to buy the houses back and then sell them again. It's like, what? What? Wait a minute. Why aren't these people going to jail?
Yeah, Jamie Dimon should have been in jail.
Yeah, they should have been in jail. That was all market fraud. The only one that went to jail was that one dude,
Madoff.
Madoff. Yeah, Bernie
It's
Madoff.
because he screwed over the rich.
Yeah,
Had he
exactly.
screwed over the poor, he would have been still out
Right.
running around. And I don't know who's stupid enough to trust a guy with the last name Madoff. It
Well,
sounds like he made off with your money. Like
Bernie Madoff.
it's wild. Like Jamie, the companies like JP Morgan were giving out like mortgages to people that were clearly not qualified to have those mortgages.
Right. Right.
I think they were called the ninja loans or something.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it was zeroed down, like nothing down. Like, here's a
Yeah.
house. You have a house. It was like Oprah. You have a house. I remember my father was trying to get me to buy a house at that time. He's like, "You got to do it." And I was like, "Nope, this is gonna burst."
Yeah, that was dangerous.
And he bought a lot of property. Luckily, he was able to retain it. I mean, a lot of the stuff got liquidated even after he died. But I mean, because when it really exploded, he was already dead. But the stress of it, of trying to make these payments, like in 2007, 2006, when it was,
Mhm.
and he had cancer on top of it, it just stressed him out.
Probably accelerated it too.
Yeah, it accelerated. No, sure, anxiety and all that stuff. And then, but I was just like, no, I'm not doing it. And I probably had the means to do it at that time, even though, when you work for the city, you're always broke somehow. I don't know how that is, but it's just like the amount of money that they tax you, and then you're being taxed to go to work when you're paying car tolls. Then you're paying gas, which our taxes pay for gas. but yet we're still paying for gas. Our taxes are supposed to pay for infrastructure, but then we're
Mhm.
paying tolls and commuter rail
Mhm.
for infrastructure. It's like, wait a minute. It's like double dipping,
Yep. And it's basically, it's going to sound crazy of me, but the way that those who are in charge keep everybody down is making sure that you are filled with all these fees, because
Yeah,
the last thing they want is competition. They
right,
don't want another class emerging, or people from a lower class emerging and to take them down.
right,
So they'll do all sorts of things. Like they have legacy programs at universities, so their kids can automatically get in. No stress for them.
right,
Granted, after a few generations, they're stupid,
right,
right? And those institutions aren't really helping anybody. But
right,
at the same time, they block real talent from getting in because they're mired in low wages, tons of debt, all these fees and taxes, and
right,
everything else. So the whole system's set up to reinforce income inequality,
right,
right?
exactly.
So what do you do?
Exactly. What do you
And
do?
to try to get people to sort of realize that, because we've been so fed this rugged individualism, is next to freaking impossible. It's
Right.
like talking to someone who it's worse than Stockholm syndrome.
Right.
It's
Right.
like, no, dude, it's like, no, it doesn't have to be this way. No, 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 you don't understand. Elon and all those guys, they did it on their own. They had emerald mines. That doesn't matter. We got to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. And they believe it more than the very wealthy, because the very wealthy actually work with each other, and then they have the printing press,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
So it's the frustration for me is not those a-holes. They know what they're doing.
Right.
It's trying to explain to others,
And
like this.
they're not contributing to our society either. Like Ben Stiller in the next game basically admitted on camera that celebrities get free tickets for these games. So there's
Yeah,
very expensive seats that again should be going towards the city revenue, right? Or they don't pay. So it's just the public that are paying. Not
yeah.
if you're rich, you get shit for free.
If yeah, and then the same people who will defend that will describe the system that why communism is bad, which I don't think they've ever picked up a book to read what it is in the first place.
Right.
But everything they describe is capitalism.
Right. Exactly.
It's wild. Yeah, if you're once you get past a certain point, you're wealthy, you're given more free shit than other people.
Anything, yeah, for sure. It's kind of like when I was younger and I dyed my hair blonde. I
And you
said,
had a better,
shit. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like people don't understand that, but it's hard to get through because we're so.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're a hard worker and you're working class, you feel like you very much do believe you earn what you put into it.
Right,
But the evidence, when you sit back and you look, is the opposite.
right,
In that, no, you don't. There are people who literally, just because they were born to the right person or their college buddies,
yeah,
they will, you know, get the express counter while you're sitting in line waiting for the actual checkout.
yeah. This guy from Africa that I used to teach with, he called it the genetic lottery or something like that.
Mhm.
Like you're just born into it, like, oh, I have good genes because I was born into wealth. So that makes me a better person.
Yeah, they believe that. Like that whole eugenics thing's all about that, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that even if you lose your wealth, that somehow you will get it back because you got better genes than poor people. No, you just got better opportunities. And
Right.
really, a lot of rich people got to be really rich because they were criminals.
Right.
There-
Exactly.
There's no getting around that. Not,
I mean, Trump just tripled his wealth just by stealing the silver and gold from Venezuela.
you
You know, and Venezuela had their gold in a bank in England, and it's like the bank of they gave them. They're like, how do you do that?
no, they took it.
Yeah, it's just like
England took that years ago.
yeah, it's just like what the hell? It's like, but then they transfer it to the United States. Then you got the oil, was stealing oil tankers, giving it to Israel. We took their silver, invaded their silver mines. Now we're trying to get into Iran because they have their gold rush that nobody's talking about. But Iran had a major gold rush. They found 2 different types of gold ore, and everyone's just talking about the oil. It's just like as a smokescreen, right? Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, England, the city of London is wicked because the city of London, one is technically its own entity.
Mm-hmm.
Like the king or the queen, when they go to London, they have to ask permission for the mayor of London to enter.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And there was a big scandal years ago. There was a thing called LIBOR. They basically set the rates for gold.
Mm.
And they were busted for actually fixing the price of gold. So the whole market is a scam.
It's a scam.
It's totally a scam. Like this whole thing with Elon being a trillionaire. He's not a trillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
He's a trillionaire on paper,
Right.
but that's from like speculation that his company's going to achieve something, so.
Mm-hmm. And that all depends on the other people. I would say the upper middle class, the middle class that also are investing in that and putting their savings into that. I mean, there's a lot of people who put their 401ks into that. So
yeah, and they don't even know that their 401ks are going for that.
Right. And that's the thing is that's the money that these rich people are counting on. It's your money is their money.
Yep. They already took our public money.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they're going for your savings.
Right. Exactly.
And there's a lot of people out there, oh, Trump's going to put money into, because he makes it sound so nice.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get the American government, the US government, to invest in AI companies.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bailout. Let's call it for what it is. It's a bailout.
Right.
Because he knows that's going to pop.
Exactly.
And the taxpayer is going to be stuck with this. And so many of us are caught with our heads up our science fiction asses that we're not understanding that this is a scam. Like when I look at the really cool tech things moving forward, one of them is the regrowth of teeth that they're doing in China and Korea.
Yeah. I've been seeing that.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that they're doing, turning desert into forests, too, in China. Those, to me, are breakthroughs. AI is just like, you're just taking the old shit that we had. You're making it faster and easier to just type in and get what you want. But we've had this stuff before. It was just a little slower or a little bit harder to make. But it's really not that stunning, like, wow. Like, think of what life was like before we had these little doodads, right? We weren't as interconnected. You'd have to sit at your laptop or your desktop for us to talk. But now you're on the go. You can be like, and I don't mean just texting because we had texting, but we can be on these apps. We can see websites and everything else. So that really changed things. I just don't see AI in the same way.
Right.
I don't think it's that big of a, I think it's more ho-hum.
Yeah. But what's even scarier is like for each prompt that is made on an AI, it's the fresh water. Like in China, they're using seawater. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But for every single prompt that's made, it's literally using between
it's like billions of gallons of water.
0.26 to 40 milliliters per prompt, right? Which equals to 1.35 ounces US, right? So people are making millions of prompts, and that's eating up fresh water, right? So like in a day, you're having close to maybe like 1 billion prompts, and then that's that's a lot of
for what?
For what?
For what? Like,
so we could search easier on the internet, so we can.
And actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people now are moving away from Google because they're integrating more Gemini into Google.
Mm-hmm.
I moved away from Google years ago because it was just the search was just unusable.
Right.
The results was all based on who they liked, and what political inclinations they had. You couldn't get like sort of like more of I mean, all of them have their algorithms and stuff, but you want to have at least a wide range. I went to DuckDuckGo, and there's other ones too. So
Yeah, DuckDuckGo, yeah. Yeah.
so it's a lot of crap. But unfortunately, we've been trained since we were little to hope for a future with flying cars and all this stuff, right? Which I don't know.
Colonies on the moon. You can't have colonies on the moon because there's no one to conquer.
Right. It would be a settlement on the moon, right?
Right. If the aliens were on the moon, then they would have had colonies on the moon. Like, oh, we got to subjugate these motherfuckers and get them to like sell Nikes.
Right. Yeah, I always thought that was a weird word for an empty space.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's a settlement.
Yeah.
It's not a colony.
Right.
Really weird, but it's true. Actually, I was thinking about that today with again, the Mars thing is on again. They're talking
Right.
about Mars.
Going back to Mars. We're going to steal more of your tax dollars.
They're just fleecing, and they're openly fleecing us with the thing they trained us with, which was this hope for a Star Trek-like future.
Right.
And it's really sad, actually, because so many people have fallen for it, particularly young men.
Right.
And I wouldn't say young men because
Right.
I would say that the 20s and under maybe are not. They're just hope that they would have a job. But I would say the 30 to 40 really buy into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Gen X, we've just resigned ourselves to be like, we're getting scammed again.
Hey man, I mean the younger generation in their 20s, they're what's that?
Gen Z.
Gen Z. They're not buying into this whole like 9 to 5 thing. They're not buying into like work 25 years to get a pension. They see right through it. They're like, fuck this. This year alone, at my job, we lost like over 10 teachers because
Wow.
like Gen Xers, I hate to say it, but we tend to gaslight, like the boomers gaslit us, and we figure like, oh, we could just gaslight these guys and make them feel bad about themselves and make them feel like they're inadequate to keep their job. And they're like, hey man, you're gaslighting me. I quit. Fuck this. It's like,
yeah,
they're a lot, in some ways they're not as savvy with know-how as to like survive. Like if the lights went out, like we would know how to survive, but they are very attuned to the psychological traps that the working class have been put under, and they see it and they're like, nope, goodbye.
I like that. I'm glad that they don't see it. I think that generationally speaking, we Gen Xers dropped the ball.
Yeah, we did
because we saw it,
mm-hmm.
and then went
instead. It's like, hey, the Chili Peppers are playing.
You're like, whatever. I gotta eat.
We saw it, and then it was solidified. I feel it was solidified when, for me personally, was 9/11. And then after 9/11, going back and saying, well, why did we go to war with Saddam? It's like, oh, we were stealing his oil. Oh, we were allowing the Saudis to steal his oil, and then he stole it back. He invaded Kuwait. And like, no, you can't do that.
And he wanted to get off the dollar.
Right, and he wanted to get off the dollar. He was, everything was going to be put back to gold, right? Gaddafi did the same thing. They like basically, then they put him in court for the Kurds, right? In 2003, 4. And didn't we give him the weapons to gas the Kurds or the white phosphorus and all this other shit?
Yeah, and we also got him to kill I think 1 million Iranians.
Yep. We got him to kill all these Iranians, So this was like our little puppet that we put in there. And then the puppet, he was like OJ. He was like the OJ of the Middle East. It's like he was like singing and dancing, doing whatever, he was popular, Mr., homecoming, Mr. America. And then he pissed somebody off, and then they frame him with this the death of his ex-wife. It's like,
yep. Oh yeah, like that's
yeah.
I remember having to suffer through that case, the OJ case. And I've said this ample times before. I don't want to repeat myself, but when I watched it, having taken martial arts for 15 years of my life,
Right.
I'm staring at that going, okay, you can be really fucking good at martial arts,
Right.
but there's no way you can kill two people at the same time.
No, no.
Not in the way he did, unless somebody was with him,
Right. Exactly.
you know.
And the reason why he got off was because the killer was opposite-handed with the cuts, and nobody in the media covered that. They
Yeah.
made it a racial thing. I mean, well, the case was fucked up by Mark Furman because of his white national.
And they were walking around with blood vials for
Right.
weeks.
For
They didn't
weeks.
take it to the lab.
Right. And they were basically tainting the evidence,
Yeah, the guy had it in his coat pocket for like I think 3 weeks. Walking around going. "Doo-doo-doo."
Yeah.
It was insane. But yeah, Saddam. This is why people getting worked up about Iran, in terms of they're religiously oppressive. Let's say that they are. Does that justify bombing the crap out of someone? Like, I mean, where are we where we can't figure out other ways? And they only became religiously like this because we kept screwing around with them. We're the ones who took their very forward, progressive democracy, overthrew it, put in the Shah. They got tired of his ass being a puppet to us and kicked him out. And of course, the ones who did it were the religious people. And
Right.
somehow in all of this, we don't acknowledge that maybe trying to engineer other countries, or I should say colonize other countries culturally, isn't a good idea.
Right.
It's just like we were talking briefly in the last episode. Marjane, the lady who wrote Persepolis. I love Persepolis for what it is. It's her account of her life. I think it was really good that way.
Yeah.
However, when she stepped over into the side of therefore Israel, I'm like, oh no, that's where it ends. No one needs children should not be being killed for this, and innocent people shouldn't be killed for any of this.
Right.
Maybe I'm naive. Maybe maybe there's a certain amount of kids being killed that will bring women's rights and all the things that we Westerners want on them. But it seems a little bit extreme. And it seems kind of no different from the Catholic Church forcing indigenous people in the Americas to convert or have their hands cut off or burnt at the stake or any of that other crap. We just shifted that religious ideology to a secular ideology, and we're doing the same freaking thing that the church was doing. That's where my problem lies with this. It's like, so
yeah, man, it's silly. And it's sad because it seems that in some ways you can't make it either as a cartoonist or like a comic book artist or even a certain level of professionalism without bowing down to that.
kissing the ring.
Ring,
Yeah.
And Kennedy, we played that Kennedy speech, and he talked about the secret societies and all this stuff. And
are they so secret?
Well, back then they were, but now it's kind of like, it's pretty obvious,
Yeah, no, it seems that way because it seems to me, and as much as I love her work, that it was promoted because she in the end was being backed by pro-Israel forces.
Right.
And that saddens me because that should not take away from her story. But I think she also knew that that's where it was coming from. And I mean, she said nothing after October 7th about how the Palestinians were treated.
Right.
But she talked about why we have to go do all the nasty stuff.
Right.
Which was just like, what is this, 9/11 again? Like,
yeah, I mean, and you see all this, it's like worse than Abu Ghraib, the stuff that's coming out, like dogs raping women and boys. And I mean, what's up with the Israeli prisons raping so many children? Like, what is that? They're raping more. Male children are being raped more than females and adult males, but they're all being raped equally. But but the boys, the children, are being raped at an exponential rate. And what is that? I don't understand that.
Well,
That's sick.
several different things could be at play there. Well, for one, I did read somewhere that Pinochet used to use dogs to rape women. And yeah, I'm gonna mess it up. Anyway, so yes, Pinochet used that. The other thing, it could be that these people who are doing that, they themselves have been abused and they get a kick out of it. It's a power thing, right?
No,
Ultimately, Chile. Yeah, it was in Chile. And so this tells me, because our government under the CIA heavily helped Pinochet. So it actually, they employed what was called the Jakarta method. The Jakarta method was used in Indonesia to kill off like thousands of people that were suspected to be communists. And we actually, with the CIA went there and helped them. And what they would do is they would mark people's homes.
Exactly.
People who were supposed to be like disappeared or whatever. And then they took that and they used that in Chile. That's not really talked about. The question is then, was it just solely the CIA or was there a Mossad element to it? I have no proof for either one. But a lot of people, when Abu Ghraib happened, who were Latin American, were like, they saw the pictures and they said, we recognize this shit. This is the shit they used to do to us during the 60s and 70s and 80s.
Right.
So it's as much as they were pretending, oh, this was just an anomaly, we weren't doing it. Intelligence services have been doing that for a long time. This is why there's a big controversy about, and granted, Idris could have been much smarter with his wording.
Right.
You know, the one about saying he doesn't want James Bond to be woke.
Right.
And he doesn't want to be. Here's my thing. I don't want to see a black or brown person play an imperialist cop. Because this is what James Bond is. MI6 was responsible for overthrowing Iran.
Right.
So why would I want someone, color to be? No, that's them. That's what they want to be. You're the imperialist stormtrooper.
Right. Exactly.
He would be working for Spectre.
Right. Exactly.
I'm sorry. There's no getting around it. He would not be this rogue guy because they would have killed him.
Right. Exactly.
With little cyanide in his martinis. Done.
Right.
Anyway,
I think we don't need to. I it's like when I was younger, well, before I go into that thought, just wanted to show this real quick. This is actually from B'Tselem. It's a Israeli Center for Human Rights in the occupied territories. They have a website here, and they have testimonies here from different people experiencing the torture. So just to go to show you that not every Israeli is pro-genocide. About 20% are anti.
which is not enough.
According to a poll, the rest of them are pro that. But yeah, it's like I remember. What was I going to say next? It's like
as a kid, we're talking about James Bond.
As a kid, yeah, it's like you're looking at these white heroes, right? These white saviors solving all our problems for us, making us feel like, oh, we're not capable of doing anything ourselves. Like it's kind of like baked into your brain that these people are the only ones that can come to the rescue or solve a problem, or when they're the ones creating the problem. It's like, what I mean? It's just like, wait a minute, and you look at the history of wars, and you look at who we call enemies, and that these enemies were previously allies. It's like, wait a second, didn't Ho Chi Minh help us during World War II? Didn't the Italian mafia help us during World War II?
Didn't China help us during World War II?
Yeah, China helped us with Russia, right? It's like, didn't it's like, didn't we call Bin Laden freedom fighters? It's like,
oh yeah,
And the list goes on and on, you know, like it's like yesterday's ally is today's enemy. And that goes to show you that America is a shitty ally, you know,
Yeah,
you know.
they're the child of perfidious Albion, which was the
Mm,
term that the French would use against the English. You
mm,
can't trust the English,
right,
right? They're always up to something,
right,
and we're like the mutant child of that.
right.
We're like they fed us under the basement child that is like we we scare them. They're like, holy crap, what's that? Um,
Yeah, man. It's excuse me. Yeah, you're right. It is freaking scary. And the more you read and the more history that's being revealed. And I think that one good thing about social media, which people aren't really tapping onto enough, is how history is unveiling itself and hidden history is unveiling itself. Just like like there was evidence of pyramids in the United States, right? There's one in Alaska that's off limits to people. There's one, we see the ones in Central and South America. The Grand Canyon had some artifacts of Egypt. I know in the 90s, my a friend of mine that I worked with, her father was an archaeologist, and he was in, I think, Mississippi, where they found some, um,
Kohika,
you know,
Kohika Village,
yeah,
city. Yeah.
and and they just dummy up about that. So Africans were here in the Americas, a long time ago. Um,
If you're a human being,
right,
you've got African, unless somehow
right,
you're a Martian. I don't,
right, exactly. Even if you're going back to Pangea, where the plates were shifted and separated, it's like it's like, but people were here, right? People were here, and a lot of Native Indians were black, right? Were mixed, right, with the natives. Now it's like it's interesting to see how they rewrote history and started shipping off, bringing in these other natives from other lands, and then rewriting history and saying that these are the real natives, not these other ones. And it's like,
Well, there was an unwritten rule, well, sort of unwritten rule,
yeah.
in archaeology in North America and the Americas that you couldn't dig past a certain point.
Mhm.
You were not allowed to.
Right,
And a lot of it was because it would prove that the people that we call the indigenous had been there forever,
right,
and they didn't want to prove that. A lot of it just comes down to land disputes. It's all legalese.
right,
You
right,
know,
right,
it's just like they refused to say that ancient Egypt was black
right.
and African. I mean, then they go, well, they weren't West African. They were still African and they were still black. Like, let's get over this. This whole thing.
Right.
And there was a study that came out from Italy last year that said up until 3,000 years ago, Europeans were dark skinned.
Right. And the Irish too. The Irish, that's why they were
Yeah.
called the blacks of Europe, right?
The Irish, the Swedes, all of them were dark skinned.
Right.
3,000 years ago, in the scope of our 300,000 year history, is a drop in the fucking bucket.
Yeah. They
But
used olive complexion, right? The Irish, right?
but for whatever reason, we've been so infused with this
Yeah.
vanity that people refuse to acknowledge that their ancestors were black.
Right.
And to me, it's like saying, I don't want to be human.
Right.
And on top of that, I don't even want to feel like I'm related to any of you. We're
Right.
one family. We're just different phenotypes. Granted, some of us are more rotten than others,
Yeah.
right? But it's bizarre to me. I don't get it. Like some people can say, "Oh, we came from Africa,"
Yeah.
and then complete disconnect as opposed to we're all people.
Exactly.
It's really weird. I don't get it, man. I just don't.
What's colonialism? I mean, I
Yeah.
remember them always calling the Irish the blacks of Europe.
Yeah.
And then, and then you had the movie The Commitments that talked about it and addressed it, but then, to some degree, they didn't go that deep historically, but they talked about, like,
No, they
more of I guess how American music inspired them, but
well,
it seems like they're trying to like recapture or embrace that, but it ends up being like they're commodifying it.
and the whole thing is that a whole caste system has been created
Mm-hmm.
that many people have invested a lot of emotions into wanting it to be biologically real.
Right.
And to be honest with you, if all that was determined by who you were related to, technically speaking, the Jackson Five, we would have had five Michael Jacksons.
Right. Right. Right.
But even in that family, we ended up with one
Right.
because there's this thing called human agency and drive.
Right.
We tend to forget that part, you know, and it's just sad. I really think it's sad because to me, it's like when I hear history from Asia, other places, I find it interesting because it's part of the human story. It's it's everybody's history. Sure, it's theirs, but you get to go, oh wow, that's what you guys are doing. That's pretty interesting. Oh, that's kind of screwed up.
Right.
Oh, neat. Thanks. We got that from you guys. There's this weird thing in the European mindset of like, if I didn't do it, it has no value.
Right.
And if I didn't do it, but I benefit from it, then I have to lie about it to make it mine, right? And deny that it ever came from Asia, North America, South America, Central America, or Africa, which is stupid.
Right.
You know, I don't, I totally understand it's colonialism, but on a
Mhm.
day-to-day level, I think it's such a waste of energy.
Right. Oh, yeah, waste of time. Yeah, exactly. I
And the
mean,
worst part is, I get that the rich want to be like that because they take credit for the jobs that, you know, if you work for a big company, you've either experienced this or you've seen someone else experience this. They come up with something which is brilliant, or a group of people do. Then one person comes in, Elon Musk, and says, I invented it. And they're like, and I'm like, I pay your paychecks. And they swipe the credit for it. And I get that rich people do that. And I get that these people do that. But I hate that we, the average person, buys that shit and doesn't go, come on, man. Dude,
right.
you can barely wipe your own butt.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, like, and that's the thing. We internalize it, something that benefits them.
Right.
We need more skepticism towards this shit and the shit that they lie to us. We have more in common with the people who immigrate and are working and are hardworking people who are just trying to make their lives a little better than we do with the people who are literally dodging everything and created a whole system to benefit them from our work and our money, our hard-earned money.
Which they're still doing. And a lot of them are still living rich and living
Yeah,
tax free and not having to work.
right. But on
And
top of it, now we're worshiping them. I mean, we have been for a long time, but now
right,
with all these communications, we still worship them. My
right.
thing is, stop worshiping them. I'm not even telling you to go out and take their shit. Just at least realize, yeah, here we go again.
Not
We're gonna
sponsor.
get screwed, right?
Exactly.
That apparently is communism to people.
Right. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's just like stop holding up that that white
Yeah,
savior. They have all the answers. Same thing with millionaires. Whenever there's election time, like when Bloomberg, oh, he was a billionaire, he's a self-made billionaire. He's not gonna even he's gonna charge $1 for his salary. It's like, give me a break. The guy is that's a tax fucking write-off for him. You know, it's like it's
and
like
then all the opportunities that he set himself up to get.
right. He's not being
He's there.
altruist. You know,
He knows all the city planning. He's
exactly,
going to be able to invest in all the things that are going to make him even more money, right?
exactly.
And because we think of it as, and we're trained to think of it as this way,
Mhm.
people tend to think that salary is wealth.
Right.
No,
No.
salary is what you get paid for the work you do.
Mhm.
But if you've got credit card debt, all the other stuff, wealth is what you have left over after you pay off all your debts,
Right. Exactly.
right?
Right.
I don't know, but you know, deep down inside, it goes back to the roots of our country with Puritanism
Mhm.
and the predestination. Who's predestined? Well, the people who make money. It's Calvinism. And then that shit mutates and turns into the prosperity gospel.
Right.
You're not making money because God doesn't love you. You got to give more.
Right.
You got to have more faith.
Right.
really, does God really going to deal with like?
Right. I think what George Carlin used to say, he's all powerful, but he can't balance a checkbook.
Yeah, exactly. Can't balance it.
He's all knowing, all powerful, can't balance a checkbook.
Well, and that
I
all
don't
that
find
money
that.
stuff comes from religion.
Yes.
That's what most people don't.
That's what Jesus was actually against. If they actually read the book,
Well, he was against
and
that they were trying to get rid of Jubilee because
yeah,
there's things that Jesus, like, he never said shit about slavery. If anything, be a good slave.
right, right.
Can't get around that. I'm sorry.
That's the King James version. Yeah.
No. I mean, just even you go back, like they were cool with it. The thing
Yeah.
is that you were supposed to get freed after 7 years or
Right.
however the
It wasn't.
period of
It wasn't a lifetime of.
indentured servitude, yeah, or whatever they had. But it was because the contracts were always signed at the temples, going back to Mesopotamian times.
Right.
That's why we have the word credit, which comes from the Latin word credo, belief.
Exactly.
So when atheists tell me, I don't believe in God, I'm like, that's cute. What do you got in your wallet?
Right. Exactly.
Those are belief tickets.
Exactly.
You
Those
believe
are
that
your
this.
golden ticket, Willie.
Yeah, you believe that
Willy
these little tickets.
Wonka.
And when you think about it, it's kind of weird.
Right.
I got this little ticket from all the working hours that I actually physically lost time on.
Right.
You're going to give me this little ticket, and I'm going to go over and say, this is all my hours that I put into
This
this.
is my value. This is what I'm worth.
This is what I'm worth. Yeah.
You know. Yeah, and they don't want you farming for yourself. They don't. Seeds are illegal. Transporting seeds.
And it's stupid because the ancient Mesopotamians understood something. So most of the cuneiform tablets they found were actually bank loans. That's where all the transactions happened, were at the temples. No different in Jesus' time.
Mhm.
But they understood that there was a period, because they actually had a calculation. When your loan and your interest payment decoupled, you could never pay it back.
Right.
So the kings, the Sumerian kings, were worried. They're like, shit, if I get enough people who are in debt and they have to sell themselves into slavery, and then our enemies come to attack us, I don't have soldiers.
Right.
So they had to reset. It's called Jubilee.
Right.
And that's why the torch that we have, like the torch, the Liberty torch,
Right.
it ties back to liberty because the king would announce a new slate being cleared by lighting a torch.
Right.
So you went back to zero, rack up your debts again, back to zero.
Right.
But it was the people who view so highly, the idiot Greeks and Romans,
Right.
who got rid of it
Right.
in the Bronze Age.
Right.
So you have two ways of clearing debts. In computer terms, you have soft boot, which is you clear the debts like the Sumerians do it,
Right.
or hard boot. You basically crash your system. And we've been stuck on this for like close to 2000. Well, yeah, 2000 years. And that's why we keep having all these freaking crashes.
Right.
And the thing is that what happens is these debts are always accumulated by a few group of people who we call the oligarchs.
Right.
They suck up all the resources. Things get brittle, collapses. Then we have to start over again. But of course, that civilization's fucked. So a new one comes along.
Right.
You know,
Start over.
start over. And here we are. We're in another period like that.
Yeah. It's like when war becomes profitable, then they want more war. Right.
Because that's all they know. That's all they know how to make money.
Yeah.
Europe has never developed an economy in which it didn't exploit
Mm-hmm.
at all. Like none. It's always been like, go steal somebody else's shit to make our economy.
Right.
This is what scares them about China.
Right.
China rose, granted, there's at some level of exploitation, granted, but it wasn't through war.
Right.
And that freaks them out because it means that there's a whole alternative way of doing this.
And they
And
do it.
yeah, in a much gentler way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I mean, China has robots. They got robot police. They got technology. They got infrastructure. They also made a law that recently saying that no jobs occupied by a human will be uh, stolen completely by AI, meaning that they're not going to just, even though you have AI cops, they're not going to get rid of their human cops just because you have banking systems that use AI and all these search engines. They're not going to. They made it illegal for you to fire your employees. So companies in China can't fire their employees and
yeah,
go 100% AI. They have to have a percentage of manpower behind it. So,
of course.
and we're not doing that. We're like 40% of all jobs will be gone in 5 years. Like, and where do these people go? Oh, we don't know.
Well,
We didn't think about that. We don't care.
they don't care. You go back to how the Americas, part of the reason that the Americas were colonized, aside from stealing land and stealing work from and lives of Africans, it was to dump their poor. They literally called them the waste people.
Mhm.
So, and then you get up until about the Civil War. The Civil War breaks out really about you have the Southern plantation owners who want to expand the plantations into the new stolen territories from Mexico. And then the rich Northerners who want to get rid of all the poor Europeans who are showing up in New York. They want to get rid of them. Afterwards, what do we have? The expansion to the West, and they dump all the poor over there.
Right.
The thing is, the planet is pretty much set now.
Right.
Where are you gonna dump them now? China has a different perspective in that it has 1.2 billion freaking people. If you start replacing people with AI, and I don't think it's possible because AI, even theirs, isn't perfect. So you
Right.
risk something, but you also risk a revolution,
Yes.
and they've had a whole history of peasants versus the rich for 5,000 years of that crap. So they know very well. You don't get to be 5,000 years old just
Right.
by sitting around sitting on your thumb.
Right. Right.
And these yahoos are like, that's why they're buying bunkers and going to Argentina, which I really don't think is very smart on Peter Thiel's
No,
part.
not at all.
I don't know if you've been following what's going on in Argentina.
Well, I know that they were trying to push out these people because they're buying up all this land, and then also I know that what was that another country that they're pushing out people who are trying to buy up the land. What was it? Trump's kid and
Oh, Albania.
Albania also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not playing around in
yeah,
Albania. They're pushing back.
yeah. They're pushing back. Yeah, and then even in some parts of Ukraine, they're kicking out a lot of these settlers that are coming in, taking their land, right? So that's happening there too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Really
Argentina,
pushed a guy off a cliff.
well, Argentina, where Peter Thiel ran to, all power to him. South America has had an increase of kidnappings of CEOs. Like it's jumped up by 37%.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, like it's always been notorious. Like my brother on the side would do some translation, and he did translation for executive protection.
Right.
So he would translate from English to Spanish.
Right.
And yeah, that's not the place you want to go to. I don't know if you know this, but
I know
Guillermo del Toro.
Colombia's been notorious for that.
What's that?
Colombia has always been notorious for like kidnapping the rich and
Mexico.
they would kidnap teachers too, and then ransom them.
Yeah.
They ask the family for money.
Yeah.
They actually almost did that to my mom because my mom was there for 3 months on the mainland. She wasn't. She grew up in San Andres, but she went back to her what is that, Bogota, right? And she was just flaunting. I bought the house from her. She's flaunting all this money over there. And then the rumors. This is what's interesting about you don't even need the internet. It's like these. There is like plots going. Like people were talking and plotting about my mom and her brother, who lives in an island hours away, got wind of it, and then flew her. Told her to come to the island. She went to the island, and then then there she stayed like about a week, and then he said, "You got to go back to America. You're making yourself a target. You're spending too much, and because she's like getting with the senility a little bit. She's like, "What? I was born here. I'm safe. I don't get it." Like, no, lady, this ain't the place that you used to be. This ain't 1950 or 1960.
No.
They're gonna kidnap. They're gonna kidnap you. You know.
Yeah. Well, Guillermo del Toro, the
Yeah.
director, his father was kidnapped.
Wow.
It was thanks to James Cameron, who suggested some services that ended up saving his dad.
Oh, really?
That's Mexico. He grew up there. That's his place.
Right.
So, all power to Peter Thiel to go there,
Right.
He,
Hopefully they'll take his ass too.
but it would be really ironic considering he gave us Palantir. But, Millet, he's a nutball. And this guy is dressed up as a superhero. He gives concerts. He's cut services like crazy. The military can't even get paid right. I heard that there's actually now they're asking the Argentinian military to, if they can, take on a second job in the private sector.
Mm.
Once you start doing that to your military, that's how coups happen.
Right.
Because they're like, why am I paying attention to this, Wolverine porno dwarf and putting up with it?
Allegedly cousins with Benjamin Netanyahu.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
But and he's also opened up to Israel a lot. And I'll be honest, like, Spanish-speaking world can be very anti-Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
So all those things added to that. If I was Peter Thiel, and he's a guy who holds a New Zealand citizenship, I would have gone to New Zealand, not Argentina.
Right.
But all power to him, and I hope he trusts his bodyguards. That's all I could say.
Right. If I take him out, I'm done.
Yeah, I didn't think that was bright.
Order 66.
Some people are saying it's because Argentina is out of the range of the nukes. And I'm like, dude, if we go full thermal nuclear,
doesn't matter where you are.
It doesn't matter. It's going to get to you. The radiation will get to you eventually.
Exactly. And it's going to be on the bottom of the seabed, crawling with every wave that crashes. It's going to get closer.
And you'll be drinking it.
Yeah. Look at Japan. They had that Fukushima thing. It only took like 8 months before that radiation was found in the bottom of California, in the bottom of the ocean. Like, it moves. It's affecting everywhere.
Yeah, it's like thinking you're going to piss in the pool.
Right.
It's going to stay in one end. It's like
it's going to spread.
Everybody's going to get affected by it.
Yeah, everyone's going to get it.
It's
like,
all these.
You smell.
Yeah, and that island in Albania that Jared Kushner and his Trump's abused daughter, because I think she was abused allegedly.
Definitely.
Has a bunker.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. No one, up until James Bond, getting back to James Bond, ever thought islands were a good idea.
Right.
That's where you got exiled to.
Right, exactly.
Right? So if they cut off your supplies, you're screwed.
Right, you're screwed. Everything, you're dependent on everything coming in,
Yeah.
Very few islands. You might find coconuts.
Exactly.
If
you're stranded with the professor and Gilligan.
Right. And you may be able to farm something, but it's like you have storms, right? Floods. Sometimes islands are completely wiped out by, these, waves is totally like these major storms just take them out. Like no more island, it's gone. It's like,
personally, I think it would be better just to fix crap,
right,
than to risk. I heard that they had bunkers in Florida, and I'm like, there's a reason Florida doesn't have basements.
Right, exactly, because it's all
these are our overlords. I'm like,
these people are stupid.
Let me just give you some tips.
Yeah,
Florida.
Right. Look at the whole what they call it, alligator Alcatraz. I think flooded immediately. It's been abandoned from what I understand.
Yeah, I heard that too. Plus, it was on indigenous land. It was on the Seminole land, I believe.
Right, which was illegally built.
It's like It's like we're run by, and I always will say this, we're run by
More.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah.
And somehow we sort of think of them as the Ozymandias guy from Watchmen, but really it's freaking Wile E. Coyote,
Yeah. It's
you
like
know.
Billy Bob with his two inbred brothers, Zeke and Zach.
Yeah, except they got a Harvard or a Yale education, right?
Right, right.
I don't know, man. They're just crazy.
Like,
Oh, I heard about the is that UFC thing gonna happen today?
oh yes, today's the 250th anniversary of America's birthday and Trump's 80th birthday and UFC. It's also more ridiculous. This is also what's going on. Apparently, the Knicks won.
Mhm.
But all of a sudden, there's all this AI out there of New Yorkers rioting and burning shit down and destroying stuff. I'm like, AI videos, like really? Like who the fuck? Like, it's just like
Well, to go back to what I was telling about Peter Thiel had an email with Epstein,
right.
in which he said he wanted to get society back to being tribal, and that Brexit was nothing. You'll see more to come. So we know who are the engineers behind this shit. We know it, but hey, immigrants, you know, I don't know if you've been following the World Cup at all. Have you?
No. Well, yesterday I was driving. I saw them selling Ecuador shirts out of a van in Spring Valley.
Well,
I haven't been following because you have to pay for it over here,
oh, well, have you been following any of the news with it?
Oh yes, with the deportations and of the referee
The
and one of the
referee, you know,
and then telling the Arab countries that you got to go stay in Mexico. It's ridiculous. It's like
it's a bit showing what everybody who's black or brown in America already knows. It's a racist country.
right.
It might hurt some white people from that I say that, but it's the truth. I mean,
Right.
there's no getting around this. We had Jim Crow up until what, like 68 or so?
Yeah. So apparently, there was a bus on fire, but they're blaming the New York Knicks, but it was actually the World Cup.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So crazy. It's so crazy.
Well, there was the English team had their shit stolen.
Yeah.
They were in Florida going to Kansas, and someone went in and swiped all their equipment.
Right.
There's tons of stuff. The Senegalese team being, checked on the tarmac like they're just common criminals. Meanwhile, some of these guys play here in Europe and make millions.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
This is a racist country. It has always been a racist country. It was based on racism and slavery, and it's never going to change. And people have just got to wake up and say, this is where I live. I'm not going to be that way. And for every person that says they're not going to be that way, we can make the place a better place. But the core of this country and its government and its rulings and its laws are all based and founded in racism. And that's never going to change until we individually change ourselves.
oh, I agree.
We were close,
I agree. And it's hard to, again, the biggest believers in the system are the people who don't benefit from it. And I come to understand that whenever I talk to any racist online,
Mhm.
or I wouldn't say talk, interact with them,
Mhm.
I'm not dealing with a person per se. I'm dealing with an education system that failed someone,
Yeah, exactly.
and the amount of work to get someone to sort of see it's not worth your time. I mean, you got to do your own work. You got to work on yourself to make yourself better. But right now we're having an issue right now between the Black American community and the Asian community,
Mhm.
in which you heard about that young man that was killed by Richard Chow. He was in
Yes.
South Carolina,
Yeah, that
and
was
it brought a boycott, appropriately so. But originally it was just going to be to his businesses.
Right.
But then some Asian dudes, because they want to feel that adjacency so bad,
Right.
had to jump in and made it worse.
Right.
And I've had my interactions with other people of
I was
color.
over a water bottle, right?
For water, which he didn't take, he
Which
put
you didn't
back.
see.
And then think of the insanity of killing someone over water,
Right.
which at one point when we were young, it was just free.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
know,
There was
and
no bottled water.
and the bottled water actually causes you, and it's been causing us more health problems because
Because
the plastic leaches into the water.
right.
So just the insanity of that. And
Yeah.
then the nerve to have some people in the Asian community say that we got a victim mentality. Well, I have something to say about that. I've had a lot of Asian friends throughout my lifetime,
Mhm.
uh, Chinese, Korean, and others, and they all bitch about Japan, rightfully so.
Right.
Japan did some shit, but I would put that as a victim mentality too.
Right.
Why are you
Exactly.
still bitching about it? If I said that, not that
Right.
I believe that, you have every right to bitch about what Unit
Right.
731 did and all the others, but flip your shoe on the other side. It's not so pretty.
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
Now add whatever Japan did and add like 4 or 5 more centuries on top.
Yeah.
And then come back and talk to me, you know. Um, and there has been this way of like, I need to keep my ears down and I need to go along. You know what going along gets you? Asian hate.
Right. Exactly.
The president saying stupid racist shit like kung flu, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so, and there's others in the Asian community come out and condemn this, but they're also saying that they have to deal with their anti-blackness.
Yeah. In their own community too. Like when you go to Asia, they have the whitening creams.
Mhm.
So it's like this is the fella here I'm talking about.
Yeah, Richard Chow.
You know, it's like yeah. I mean, when I went to Taiwan and Japan, I was shocked to see like these whitening creams that were condemned in the U.S. like a long time ago were like still being used and sold and product like in full giant displays on the train stations, like these LED screens. It's like Asians are naturally dark skinned people, but they avoid the sun. Come on, they live on the fucking equator. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they would look like Peruvians or Ecuadorians, but they basically, again, it's colonialism,
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
wanting to be white and they create these skin lightening products.
And in that case with this lightning creams, I would wish they could say it's just Asia, but I know that Ghana
Oh, yeah.
had to make some of them illegal. And sometimes I see Africans here, and you
Mhm.
can tell when someone has used skin bleaching
Yeah.
because the skin isn't even.
Right.
Skin color is not an even thing.
Right.
Painters and stuff, they know that. And color, people who do colors, unless you're doing flats. And that's the
Right.
annoying thing about flats. But of course, you got to do that for comics because it's faster that way. I
Right.
try to get variation. But when they have like a flat tone, you
Yeah.
can tell they're using it. And I've seen some
Yeah.
African women who do that. It's really sad.
A lot of celebrities too in Hollywood. You see that they're getting as they get bigger and bigger up the food chain, they get lighter and lighter. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And it's for what? I mean,
Right.
I'm sure that has to give you skin cancer.
Oh yeah, for sure, because you're destroying the melanin in your body. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that Michael Jackson said he didn't use skin lighteners, but whatever medication that he was using was thinning out his skin, and then he became very sensitive to light. That's why he had to have the umbrella.
Well, vitiligo, because it was in his actual death
Yeah,
certificate.
vitiligo, but the medication.
Vitiligo is actually, and I remember seeing a lady. I didn't believe him until I lived in Brooklyn. I saw a lady
Right.
who had to walk with an umbrella.
Mm,
And it's because vitiligo is like a latent albinism. And
yeah.
people who are albinos can't walk in the sunlight.
Right.
So in his case, I cut him slack because he had to use the bleaching because he only had a few spots to even everything out.
Right.
And he wasn't living in a time, and he was a person that even if he came out and said, "Look, this
Right.
is what's happening to me,"
And people would still judge it.
oh, they'd poke fun at him. They'd say all sorts of. They were so nasty to him.
Oh yeah, for real. For someone that inspired a generation, 3 generations, I'd say, with their music and talent, they really just took a big shit on him. And notice this. I just noticed something, right? He bought the catalogs. This all happened after Thriller. He bought his own music back from the music company. He bought Elvis. He bought the Beatles. He bought who else was it? A few bands that were always played on the radio, like a lot of 1950s, a lot of blues, a lot of like black musicians.
Mhm. I know he bought Little Richard's, but he gave it back to Little
Give it
Richard.
back to them, yeah. And then so he bought all these catalogs, right? And these were songs. So every time they play that song, he would get paid, right? I noticed that the radio station stopped playing those songs. There was a time we went through a block where we just stopped hearing Elvis, right? And that was like in the 90s, right? We stopped hearing the Beatles. Like nobody was playing the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
No, every musician, like Little Richard was on the radio all the time. We stopped hearing Little Richard. We stopped hearing all these songs that were always played, these American great songs. I mean, now you listen to the radio, they still play 80s music like crazy. Why? Because they don't own their music. They don't own their catalogs.
Yep.
So, and most people don't realize that. Like, so this guy was playing, like CBS FM would play these music, these songs. And it wasn't until after he died. If you remember, when Michael Jackson died, all of a sudden, every single fucking Beatle record was
They got it.
remastered and released. Elvis, all these records that we hadn't seen in so long started coming out of the woodwork. Like it just blew up. Like, wow.
Well, they said too that with the first set of allegations, it's what started to get him in debt.
Yeah.
So that would track with what you're saying because it was another way of making sure he wasn't getting an extra revenue stream.
Yeah.
They're trying to choke him out.
Yeah, they're trying to choke him out. And that's
And
so
they did.
fun. And that music was like always playing. And so not only did you start hearing Michael Jackson music on the radio again, because they're making money off of that too. And then you had re-releases of all his albums. Like you go to Walmart, you're like, oh, they have. Well, I haven't seen Michael Jackson in here for at least a decade, being sold, and all of a sudden, he's dead. Like overnight, all these Michael Jackson, Elvis, all those catalogs that he owned are now back on the shelves.
Well, what's interesting, because everyone always thinks that it was his rival Prince. And it really wasn't. They're very different in very many different ways. I always felt that
I couldn't compare the two. They're two different styles.
two different styles.
It's like trying to compare blues to heavy metal. It's like two different styles.
Like I always felt that Prince brought me into puberty, right? In the sense that he talked more about relationships and women and all this other stuff, and just a little bit more adult stuff. That's how I saw it. Michael had this Peter Pan kid thing to him. And I think that's why he's very easily accessible. Right. Whereas I find Prince can be if you find the album, because the guy had it came to a point where I couldn't afford buying all his albums because sometimes he'd come out with 2 a year because he was just prolific. Right. But their similarity and their struggle is when he leaves Warner Brothers, he finds out they had trademarked his freaking name.
Right, exactly.
Like we've talked about superheroes before and how it's co-trademarked, which is illegal. But imagine your birth name that your mama gave you.
His name is Prince. Yeah, it's not a fake name, right?
Right. So this is why he had to switch it to a symbol.
Right.
Which was very good marketing, but unfortunately, because he did that, what they do?
The media
made it seem like he was crazy.
Yes, exactly. Oh, he's nuts. He's crazy. He changed his name to a symbol. And they're so
Yep.
powerful. You see, like the late night shows made fun of it for decades.
Yep.
It's just like when Harlem was burnt out and all the blacks started buying up the brownstones in the community that were abandoned and burnt out. What did the newspaper say? Oh, these crazy black people, they're buying up all these ruined houses, blah, blah, blah. Blah. Yeah, because they knew that these people were starting to buy it up and they were going to gentrify the neighborhood.
Because that's probably why it got burnt down.
Right.
But
So,
what's interesting, he got his catalog a year before he died because he had been fighting to get his music back.
mhm.
And then a year later, he's dead.
Whitney Houston, the same thing. She was fighting to get her catalog.
And then what happened? Sony now owns both Prince's and Michael Jackson's
Mhm,
music.
mhm,
And apparently, from what I heard, he thought he was going to get a better deal with Tidal, Jay-Z.
mhm.
But Jay-Z, and the idea was you're just going to play the music from this album. But he was starting to play stuff that was not from that album. And Prince was not very impressed with Jay-Z over that.
Right.
So, and I don't know, for whatever reason, can you name a Jay-Z song?
No.
No. But somehow he's like this record-breaking,
Right.
artist.
I don't know any of his music,
I think he's a fixer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he's deep behind this whole thing with Diddy too, right? With the
Yep.
manipulation and the
Another
sex
fixer.
and all that stuff.
So
It's just
Yeah.
like
when you zoom out and you see,
they start putting these people with not much talent in charge of things. It's like,
yeah, and now we got Nepo babies.
right.
So kids now, I don't know if it's still a number one in the charts, but at least a couple of weeks ago, Billie Jean was number one again.
Yeah, exactly. I beat out Taylor Swift.
It's like, dude's been dead for 17 years.
Right.
And he's still beating them. It's
All my
which-
students love Michael Jackson. All the teenagers are listening to it.
my kids, same thing. I mean, they kind of grew up a little bit with him. I didn't really push it on them
Yeah.
but my daughter just she knows all about she knows all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Really everything.
And that was even before that movie dropped. The movie drop just blew it up even more. But even before the movie drop, I had my seniors last year and the year before would always put on the Michael Jackson. I was like, "What do you know about this?" And I even like Morrissey and the Smiths. Surprisingly, I'm like, "What?" like who told you about this? How did it's like?
Well, like we were talking last week with Rob, it's because that stuff is more working class,
Yes.
right? Like Michael might have been like a super millionaire and all this other stuff, but he never got a chance to be a kid. And I think he was always like on that I need to do more struggle that you get in when you're trying to make it. It never turned off.
Right.
Right. Sometimes it turns off because you're like, I got all this money. What do I care? Right. But he was always kind of like in that thing. So I think that's why it resonates. He put his heart into his work.
Yes. Just like we put our heart into our works as well as creatives, so that we can relate to that,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he was always like, him and Prince were two of my favorites. Michael for his perfectionism, but his perfectionism taught me it's toxic. It can destroy you. And he was very good at pleasing others. That's, I think, the other reason that he got so messed up. Prince was great for me in the sense artistically that he taught me it's like, yeah, great. Try to not please others. Try to do you.
Right.
It's just like two different sides of an artistic way of looking at things. Yeah, I try to put my hard work into it.
And it also shows you like how the pharmaceutical companies really capitalize on addiction.
Yes.
Because after he had that accident, he had that pain meds that basically made him addicted to drugs,
Yeah. And they're actually saying that he was killed. Well, he was killed.
He was killed. That guy went to jail for 5 years. He's already out, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yoko Ono could keep the murder of John Lennon in prison, like in life, even though he served his sentence like 4 times over already. But because he killed a white guy, but Michael Jackson's killer, he did his time.
And just the way
That's such an injustice. The guy could have called 911. He was a doctor. He was abusing his license.
plus Michael had some problems with the organizers of the show.
Yeah.
There's an instance where he got punched and pushed into a bathtub or something.
Mm.
The guy that was organizing, and Michael didn't look the strongest either. He was looking very weak at that
He's
point.
looking very frail. Yeah.
Very frail.
Yeah.
There's a lot of abuse that goes into that industry.
Well, absolutely. Same thing with Elvis. Being
Mhm.
abused with drugs. These managers control them with drugs. They control them with. Same thing. Judy Garland. Same thing.
Amy Winehouse,
Amy Winehouse. Yeah.
great voice. Probably not a great person, but
Right.
a wonderful voice. I mean, her first popular song though was "They Tried to Get Me to Go to Rehab."
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that
That song.
right there.
I mean, there's something about Caucasianism and drug addiction that goes hand in hand. And
Well,
back to history, you see laudanum, right? It's like,
I think it has a lot to do with escaping,
yeah,
and instead of
or guilt.
well,
You know?
it depends on what class you come from.
Right.
It's you from the higher classes might be guilt, or it might just be I need to feel something because I've been raised by sociopaths and psychopaths,
Right.
and they have no emotional attachment to me.
Right.
Lower classes oftentimes is I need to just escape from the moment,
Right.
and a lot of it has to do with
Or like, I don't want to be like everybody else and having to come to terms with being lied to your whole childhood that you're special and better than everyone else, and then realizing I have no money, I'm broke just like this other guy.
and instead of turning around going, hey man, this system lied to us.
Right.
Screw the system.
Right.
They then, because we've been so programmed, we internalize it and we self-destruct.
Yeah.
As opposed to make it more active and go, screw the system.
Yeah.
That goes back to what I was saying. Why is it that how's it going?
Everything's good.
All good.
All good.
Internalizing it's really sad.
Yeah. I remember reading this Reader's Digest from the 60s. I think it was from 1969. I was on my friend's toilet at a party, and then they had all these old Reader's Digest. I was reading this article, and it said the links between alcoholism and suppressed homosexuality. And this is 1969, so I'm like taking a shit reading this, and I'm like, wow, this is fascinating research. It's like I talked about like the machoism, men that feel like they have to overexert themselves to prove that they're macho and masculine and all this, and then but at the same time they abuse alcohol, and it was because it's about suppressing their feminine traits or their homosexual tendencies. And if you think about sports, football, basketball, these guys smacking each other on the ass or doing like some vile shit to each other. It's like
maybe saying I'm not gay.
Right. There's nothing wrong with being gay. I'm not trying to say anything, but
no, but it's the funny part that they do things.
The people that
are guys like that's like
probably the biggest gays out there.
Yeah, instead of going, okay, like, don't worry about
Cash
it.
to tell.
Like, yeah.
Or like Hegseth, come on, he's like overly masculine, like over the top. Like, come on, man, dude.
I think he would have been a great gym teacher. The perfect asshole gym teacher. The one from like John Hughes movie.
Right, yes.
Right.
Or Porky's.
or Porky's. Yeah, God.
I know that mole. I know.
Yeah, he could also say, and I know it wasn't a gym teacher in the video, but he could also say, "What do you want to do with your life?" Right. I want to rock. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
We got that Satanism clip. We're gonna get into our conspiracy hour. Buckle up, kids.
All right, conspiracy hour.
We got a little conspiracy.
What you got?
We got this very wild conspiracy about JD Vance, Erica Kirk, and this admiral who was an open Satanist. Here we go. Let's see. The king of cartoons. Let's roll the king of. Here we go.
Lori and Kent Franze pictured here as an older couple, but they're also pictured here as a younger couple next to a woman named Lilith Aquino, who's the wife of Michael Aquino. And if you don't know who Michael Aquino is, he's one of the most prolific Satanists that was in our military. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino, a high-ranking Satanist and military official who specialized in psychological operations, founded the first tax-exempt and government-recognized satanic institution, the Temple of Set, in 1975. He joined the military in 1968 and was an active member in Anton LaVey's Church of Satan from 1969 to 75. Aquino's home was raided on August 14, 1987, and although videos of him were found performing satanic, ritualistic blank blank on children, no charges were brought against him because he was a CIA operative, and the issue was a matter of quote-unquote national security. And real quick, this is a picture of Michael Aquino and his wife, Lilith Aquino, that we saw in the first picture next to Erica Kirk's parents. Interestingly enough, there are some out there internet theories that claim that JD Vance and Erica Kirk are both secret children of Michael Aquino. Now, maybe this is a coincidence, but me personally, I don't believe in such things. Also, P.S., if you notice in the original picture, if you look in the background, there is a photo of the Golden Gate Bridge. That is because Michael Aquino lived and worked here in the San Francisco area, which I happen to live in right now, and I do know the address of one of his previous apartments. If you'd like me to go check that out, please let me know in the comments. Just give me any excuse, and I'll go do it. Now, if this seems a little bit too out there for you, I'm going to leave you with this clip where Michael Aquino will explain everything himself. Give it a listen.
Aquino and his wife, you are a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. Correct. Now, and how does the Army feel about you being head of the Temple of Set?
The Army has known about my religion for the entire span of my Army career, which began in 1968. And there was a reasonable amount of curiosity, as there has been all the way along, that, what exactly is this strange and unusual thing? And I've talked about it in much the same way that I've talked here today on your show about it. And other than that, the Army has paid very little attention to it, the same as it would to anybody who, say, a follower of Hinduism or of Buddhism or any other slightly unusual religion today.
So you just go about your Army duties and it's fine and okay.
And things that make you go,
I think it's kind of funny because, I mean, Set is the god of chaos in Egypt.
Right.
That's not Satan.
Right.
So
It's not Satan, but it's I think that the Europeans basically took those concepts of Set and then commodified it to Satan. You know,
bastardized it. Yeah.
bastardized it. Well,
Yeah.
same thing with Pan, right? Pan was a celebratory god, you know.
Panic.
Yeah, exactly. And then he becomes what was it? The Christmas demon with black
Krampus.
Krampus, right?
I like Krampus.
Krampus, and then so Set, Pan, Krampus, and then the devil, right? So
Yeah.
was
No,
anyone
other than that cultural appropriation, I mean, it could be. He does look a lot like them.
I mean, he looks
Yeah.
like an ugly Cabbage Patch.
At first, I thought they photoshopped Vance's head in that photograph. I'm like, what? Then I saw him on the Oprah, and I remember him being on Oprah because that video has been floating around.
Yeah.
And, I mean, yeah, I mean, he worked for the CIA in psychological operations.
Right.
So here's my question. Here's the deeper conspiracy.
Right.
What if that was a psychological operation?
That's true. That's true. That's
You
it.
know?
They were big on Satanists in the 80s.
Yeah, we'll
Also,
put up this thing, Satanism. We have all these weird parties and do horrible things to children and all this crap. And
yeah.
we get to excuse it because we're CIA agents, and we'll just,
Right.
and we'll see how how society will
Respond to it. I mean, the same thing with Charles Manson. All right. I mean, he was a psyop in a lot of ways too, because he was doing the underage child trafficking for celebrities, so he can get a record made, and then the Beach Boys gave him an uncredited song that he wrote for the Beach Boys that was a hit, but they didn't put his name on it, and that kind of pissed him off. I mean, it's like.
And then he's showing up at Polanski's house, killing up for
and then while he was arrested, his son, Manson's son, was being actually taken care of, was being raised by his former probation officer, who was also a CIA operative, because Manson with Whitey Bulger were in that MK Ultra experiment while they were in federal prison.
It's like a weird cult.
It's a weird cult thing. And then where Manson took his girls in the Haight Asbury clinic, that clinic where does a guy with an 8th grade education that spent his entire childhood in prison, most of his adult life in prison, in and out of prison, who was a pimp, right? Mm-hmm. He was a guy with an 8th grade education, a pimp. Within a year after his release of federal prison for good behavior, because he was in this program, right?
Mm-hmm.
This MK Ultra program with experimental drugs and shit like that. How does he basically in a year and a half get a stable of girls, of over 30 girls, most of them underage, get a bunch of drugs and access to celebrities, right? And starts blackmailing celebrities, right? It's like
he's got to have a connection,
right? And then
you don't do that.
No. And then the clinic at the Haight Asbury was actually a CIA-run hospital where they were actually doing health checks for people. It was like a free clinic for anybody, a public space, but they were actually getting the drugs from there too. Wow. He was getting an ample supply. He's providing. This guy is basically a drug dealer pimp. He's getting drugs from the CIA to bring to celebrity parties so that these celebrities can screw these underage girls.
Wow. And it was LSD, right?
It was LSD. And it was LSD, and it was also a lot of hypnosis going on and stuff like that,
Yeah, LSD is a dead giveaway, CIA.
Yeah. And then MK Ultra was actually a stronger version of LSD. It's a derivative of that drug. Yeah.
And that was a Swiss company that I think developed LSD.
Yeah. And remember, they were using that during the Korean War on soldiers,
in Vietnam.
In Vietnam, and also in California, they were giving it to Johns, giving it out to prostitutes to their Johns to see how. And they actually had these hookup places in California where they had their CIAs were filming them. There's actually a movie about that called MK Ultra with Woody Harrelson. They're talking about.
And before that was Jacob's Ladder.
And Jacob's Ladder, yes, that was one of the first times we heard about that, right?
Yeah.
A
movie I just rewatched. I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater. It doesn't have to do with MK Ultra, but it has to do with the government.
Mm-hmm.
It was Enemy of the State.
Yeah. That's a Will Smith one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty wild.
And if you watch it now, you have a different view on it.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, they were telling us all this. Because if you watch it thinking it was after 9/11,
right?
But you watch it before, you're like, holy shit, they were telling us they were going to do this.
Yeah. And then if you really look at that movie too, and the actual setup of Gene Hackman's, that's an unofficial sequel to a movie that he did called The
Conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when I was watching. I was like, it's like a sequel.
Right, it's a sequel to the conversation.
Yep, it's like a sequel to the conversation. Yeah, which if you know the conversation, any younger people out there who might be watching this might be like, what's the conversation? It's all about surveillance.
Right.
And actually, in the enemy of the state, I think I might have posted on your wall at some point this past week. It was from the script. He said that, the telecommunications and the NSA have been in bed together since the 40s,
Yeah.
and that they can close out your bank accounts and all this other stuff. This is why when I'm talking about digital ID, I mean,
Mhm.
it's redundant at this point.
Yeah.
If you remember seeing, what was it, Trading Places,
Right.
all they have to say is that you're under investigation for drugs and your
Right.
bank accounts are already automatically frozen and you're screwed. So this idea that this looming, time period is going to come where we're all in this dystopian future, it's like, no, we're living in that dystopian future right now.
Yeah. And then now Apple is using chips developed and engineered by teams in Israel in their
Yeah.
latest phone models.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's like blowing up pagers. How about blowing up cell phones?
Yep.
You know,
It's funny because here,
right? You know,
other than a few products, I haven't bought a brand new Apple in a long time. I
Mhm.
buy like refurbished.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if you have there, it's called, oh crap, what's it
It's
called?
called Apple Intelligence, right? That's what they're
No,
calling.
there's a back market. So back market is a very popular thing here because Europeans don't buy brand new phones unless you get it from
Yeah.
your provider. They give you a phone and then you have to slowly pay it off because no one's got like $1,400 to drop on a phone, right? And credit isn't as ready available as it is stateside. So you literally have to have the cash. So a lot of people buy like older phones that work just the same. They just take out the new batteries, they put a new battery,
Right.
tweak it up a little bit. So I haven't bought a new outright iPhone in a long time, and don't plan to. I think I might jump next to a Huawei.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, because I don't want to support that crap.
No.
It's sad because Apple stuff tends to stay working for a long time.
Yeah. It's a little freaking scary.
It's sad. It's really sad because they're destroying. Knowing what you know, would you want to go out to buy something that they could actually? No,
No.
no.
I'm
You
gonna
would.
go there. I'm gonna buy a landline, like an old copper phone.
Someone came up with something like that for touch phone.
Mhm.
It's like you could do that as like a little accessory you could put on to do the dialing. I don't know if that was just like some joke or something, but I thought that was hysterical. Like,
Someone came up with a few years ago. They were like a plug-in thing for the cell phone instead of earphones. It was actually a handset, and you're like this. I was like, "That's fucking brilliant," but it didn't
that's
was, you know.
hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, "That is genius."
That'd be
Super
great
genius.
at conventions.
Let's see this. Let's see what this guy has to say. It's only 30 seconds.
The chips for the iPhone 17. I don't know what the fuck they know about chips. I know what they know about pagers. So the good news is your iPhone will no longer overheat. The bad news is that bitch is gonna blow up. What the fuck? Why are you partnering with them? I'm not even buying that phone now. I don't want to sign the terms and conditions and then lose my house. Like, these motherfuckers control the weather. It's one thing to have the real clouds. Now they want the iClouds too. That's fucked up. All right, baby. All right. Apple is.
I just thought that was funny. We have to have
Oh, that's hilarious. But really, maybe it's just me. But when I was younger, I don't know if you had this feeling too. Usually, when they added more and more shit to a device, it made it work. It worked worse.
Yes.
So it's just like, oh, we're gonna give you a watch and a calculator.
Right.
Calculator worked like shit on the watch. It's just really cool because it's like, look, this is like a little gimmick to talk to your,
Right.
fellow classmates and friends and stuff. But they're just going to make the experience worse. Apple can't afford that.
Right.
Now, they're lucky that Huawei and others are being excluded and being tariffed.
Right.
But how long is that going to last? And if you're in China or you're some other country like Iran,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to want to get Apple stuff knowing that they could blow you up like they did in Lebanon?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's too much. I mean, also they're the number one manufacturer of uranium, right? So of course they don't want Iran manufacturing uranium because that's like a competitor right there, right? It's like
Yeah.
but it's and nobody talks about the cancer rates in Israel, right? Like that's why
Skin cancer?
skin cancer
Through the
because
roof.
they're manufacturing this toxic stuff in their land. Now they're dropping bombs in Gaza, and those that it's not nuclear, but still all that pollution is in the water. It's in the stream. Their water is connected. It's not separate. It's not like they got a separate stream of water. It's like, it's like
At,
they're
not long
poisoning
after
themselves.
October 7th, I had an exchange with someone online, not on Facebook. And they were like, the guy said, we should drop a nuke on Gaza.
Right.
And I wrote back, are you stupid? Like, that's like right there. Like, it's going to hit you. You might as well just nuke yourself while you're at it, too. Like,
It's just
but-
like, oh, let's nuke Newark, and then you live in Fort Lee.
or you live in Manhattan. Let's nuke Brooklyn.
Right, let's nuke Brooklyn.
Really?
It's
That's
like,
brilliant.
it's a good idea. You go,
I was just like stunned because I was like,
right.
I was like,
And it's just as dumb as them wanting to nuke Iran because it's a neighboring country. You nuke any of those Arab states there, it's going to affect them. It's like cutting off your nose to spite your own face, right?
yeah.
As the saying goes.
There was a whole case study back when JFK was alive and was president. It was the baby tooth study.
Mm.
And because we were testing nuclear weapons, and they found that the baby teeth before nuclear testing were healthier than the ones after. And it didn't matter where we were in the country.
Right.
The radiation was screwing everybody up.
Right.
So technically we have had a nuclear war.
Yeah.
It's through our testing.
Right. Exactly.
Right. That's why you can't really go to the desert.
Right.
The desert's just filled with that shit.
Right. And then even Oppenheimer, when those families were living on those bases, a lot of those people got cancer.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's go watch the bomb.
Like that, I don't understand. Like that to me is just like it's a weird. We got to the point. Well, I can't say we. Some of us got to the point.
Not us.
Well, I'm just saying some of us has gotten to the point where we don't understand that there's no barriers between us and whatever we do to nature. Like
Right.
we rely on this, right?
We're on the same planet. Hello.
I don't understand. Again, it's just like one of those weird, like, okay, you think, I guess it's out of sight, out of mind,
We tend not to believe in anything invisible, or that's when it comes to when it comes to God. Yes, Santa Claus. Yes, it's like radiation. No, bacteria and germs. Maybe.
Well, it's that old question. I remember that every student is asked, if a tree falls in the forest,
Right.
does it exist or whatever?
Right.
And I'm like, well, if enough of them fall, we'll all find out that they fucking exist. That's for sure. It's just this connection from nature that's really weird to me, man. Like,
And you know what hasn't dropped lately? And
What?
this week, as far as I've seen, I haven't seen a new Iranian Lego video.
wow,
Have
That's
you?
true.
Maybe they're blocking them now or
could
something.
be. Could be.
I haven't seen one. You know.
Could be. But then again, you know, we have the trailer park bread and circuses at DC.
Right.
You know, with the when they had motocross and they were like doing the flips and all that, and I'm like,
You know.
they were complaining about Obama's tan suit, and now they got the motocross. Like it looks like all it's missing is the monster trucks.
Right.
You know, I mean, some people enjoy that, but I think that our government shouldn't be doing that. Call me crazy, you know. I don't know.
The last one I see is June 8th. That was a while ago, right? That was
Yeah, it's the 14th. It's not bad.
yeah. Let's see.
Not too bad. They're just not turning out as many.
Let's see. Lego Wrap expresses Trump's endless war problem. Oh, I found one 20 hours ago.
There you go.
I had to literally actively search it out. Usually it pops up automatically for me.
So they're probably using the algorithm to squeeze them out.
Yeah, exactly. So they're there. They just, you have to seek it, literally look for it now. Let's see. Let's hear this.
A few days ago we warned you, not with anger, not with politics, with history. Because history has a funny habit. When you don't learn from it, it comes back around. And now look where we are. The ceasefire shaking, the missiles flying, the region nervous, the markets watching. And the war you said would be over in days is entering another chapter.
Remember the speeches, remember the confidence, remember the promises wrapped in certainty. You said Iran's launch capability was finished. You said the power was broken. You said the threat was neutralized. That's what victory sounds like, right? Then explain the headlines, explain the missiles, explain the drones, explain the alarms ringing across the region. Because reality keeps showing up with receipts. Pakistan's ambassador at the United Nations, warning the world about a cycle of violence, not a cycle of peace, not a cycle of victory, a cycle of violence. That's a very different speech.
You said the fire was out. Why is the smoke still rising? You said the threat was gone. Why is everybody mobilizing?
You said the mission was complete.
And say what we're seeing.
Every week another promise.
Every week another reason not to believe it.
Now let's talk about the helicopter, because facts don't disappear. Reports say an American Apache came down over the Strait of Hormuz. Then came more strikes, then came more retaliation, then came more warnings, then came more uncertainty. Hold on. When we told the launches were gone, when we told the capability was finished, when we told the operation was working, because that's not what a finished conflict looks like.
That's what escalation looks like.
Jordan intercepting missiles, Bahrain sounding alarms, Kuwait watching the skies.
Everybody preparing, nobody relaxing. That's not peace.
That's tension wearing a difference.
You said the fire was out. Why is the smoke still rising?
Hey.
You said the threat was gone. Why is everybody mobilizing?
You said the mission was complete.
Then explain what we're seeing.
Every week another promise.
Wow.
Every week another reason not to believe it.
The problem isn't that wars are difficult.
Wars have always been difficult.
The problem is pretending they're simple
The problem is announcing victory.
before the story is finished.
The problem is calling diplomacy weakness and discovering diplomacy was the only exit. Now negotiations drift, the region waits, the world watches, and the question gets louder.
Did anybody ever have a plan?
A real plan, not a speech, not a headline,
Not a social media post.
a plan.
Because if there was a,
Plan.
why does every road lead back here? Mr. President,
The markets are watching. The region is watching. The world is watching. They're all asking the same question.
did you ever have a strategy to end this war?
Or is this becoming another adventure? attention.
That started with confidence.
And ended with consequences.
Because.
History keeps repeating itself.
And history doesn't care about.
Campaign slogans.
Longer.
They even got the Kenny G.
That was a longer one. I think I can see why this one was kind of blocked from the algorithm, because they're talking about us not having a plan.
Yeah. And that's the thing I hate about
It's true.
no, I hate about the social media platforms
Mhm.
is the algorithms. They just screw everybody.
Yeah.
I remember when Facebook and all the other when we first started, you could put something up and everybody would see it.
Yeah. Now it's
And
all
they-
ads and commercials.
Yeah, now it's like you're being shoved into these little boxes.
Mhm.
Even when you're supposed to, they say, hey, you could pay a little bit, you can get out of this box and you can get it to the main timeline.
And then they're like, no.
It doesn't even work. So I don't think they're in the money. They're in the money. I don't think they're in the business of making money. I think they're in the that too. They're not in the money, but they're in the business of managing us. Like
Yeah.
social media is a form of
It's a CIA op, basically. They're saying that
social management,
social management and surveillance.
surveillance, which is why I think the whole digital ID thing's stupid. There's no need for it because everything we're doing.
Yeah, we're
I mean-
posting it. We're like, hey, look what I did.
Yeah, like I sometimes see people going, and when my revolutionaries take over, I'm like, dude, you don't want to be saying that if you really mean that.
Right.
Unless you're a Fed, and by all means, you're getting paid for it, right?
Yeah. Very true. Oh,
Pretty much, we're at the position of either we're getting played or we're getting paid.
right. Exactly. One second. 1 second. I gotta get
Sure.
something. I was making fun of a book last week, and I had to buy it to justify my thing.
Okay. Hopefully, it's a fun book, one we can have some good laughs at, and that way, you'll definitely justify it. So, everyone out there, how's everyone doing? Doing good? Having a good Sunday?
Yeah. So last week, we were talking about the dead man, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not dead man anymore. It's the dead man. So I was like, you know what? I'm trash talking this guy's book. I went and bought it. So I was like, let me give it a read. Now, I'm not a fan of the art, because specifically there's a lot of concepts for my 2005 Vertigo proposal, even though this is not Vertigo, for Dead Man that they that were in here, and I was just like, but I was just like, look, this is not a comic book. This is a lot of talking heads. The art sucks. This is the guy who did Ice Cream Man. They actually got the death of him wrong as well. They have the Hook actually murdering Dead Man. That's wrong. He was actually shot in the book. So you're working for DC. You don't even do the research as a writer. W. Maxwell Prince was the writer. He didn't even read the original Dead Man series. It looked like this was a scene from one of the Neil Adams covers. So he just made an assumption based on the cover that Dead Man was killed by Hook, stabbed. No, he was shot.
That's sad about the floating heads because there's so many ways to have a lot of dialogue and make it better.
A lot of dialogue, and it's more bubbles than art. It's pretty plain.
But there's a way of marrying the two.
Yeah, and then they have this whole. Then they make Ramakrishna into like a Gen Z or something. It's like a little kid.
Well, I guess they're trying to get that audience, right?
Right, but it's just like, and then this is what pissed me off. I mean, we've seen it in the Doctor Strange movie, but in 2005, I had promoted, which I don't have the art on me now. I'll show it next week. But they basically did a very like a Hindu looking. You see the multiple arms behind Dead Man.
Oh
I did that in 2005 in a much cooler drawing than this, and they give him like this mod look. He looks like one of the Avengers from the TV show. It's like, it's like, but they call him the janitor. He's a janitor of death, basically. He's so all of a sudden he's like the Grim Reaper, where he's like welcoming souls who just died. But they call him the custodian, and he has a mop, and he's like mopping. It's like, what the fuck? And then they have him this.
Got downgraded to janitor.
Yeah, the janitor. Then they have him in a suit. He's almost like the Mask, or like where he's changing clothes, changing obvious, like like. It seems almost they try to make him into like a parody character, so he's not really so much in the.
Yeah.
So he's like wearing a doctor's outfit at one point, and he's wearing like a corsage suit, like if he works at a hotel. Then he's a janitor.
I'm surprised. I guess things are changing because the draftsmanship usually in DC and Marvel.
Yeah, he used to be. This is like
much higher.
This is like he's wearing a janitor suit.
Yeah.
So I wanted to really not to shit can people. I'm glad that they're getting work, but it's just unimpressive in the history of Dead Man. It's just that's $4 I'll never get back.
Or yeah, and see, here's the thing, right? This is something that the market, DC and Marvel, haven't adjusted to. If you're putting out a comic that's $4,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a manga that has more pages,
Right,
for $8,
right. It's like 200 pages.
yeah, like I thought by now they would have adjusted and got, okay, we got to do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll lower the page quality a little bit. We'll go bi-monthly or
Something. Yeah. I mean, I've been going magazine format just so I could raise my prices up, and I don't like raising my prices up, but the printing costs are,
Yeah. That's why those books, when you print actual graphic novels,
Mhm.
it ends up being cheaper.
Right.
Like, there's a reason why we went from pulps to paperbacks,
Right. Exactly.
right? And comics didn't do that jump.
No, they're stuck in the past,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But I'm gonna have to wrap it up because I have to drive for 2 hours. So it's like,
Sounds like fun.
yeah.
2 hours.
It's
Wow.
more like a work day, But I don't know. Yeah, real quick question: what do you think? I think they try to make him look like a Dr. Manhattan type of.
Yeah, they did.
It doesn't look like Boston Brand to me,
Well, I'm glad that DC's branching out from its usual
Yeah.
super realistic style.
Well, this is the guy who does Ice Cream Man, which is supposedly a hit book. So I never read Ice Cream Man, but he was like an Eisner nominee. I don't know if he was ever an Eisner winner, but
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
the guy knows how to draw. I'm not trying to take away anything from that, but it just doesn't have that excitement of a comic book.
How can I put it this way?
Like, look at the backstory. These last 3 pages are more exciting. Like, this is the backstory.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's 3 pages. Even the plain pages I'm talking.
Is it like a one-off?
No, this is a new series.
Oh, okay. So maybe it'll get more exciting as it goes.
So this is called All In, right? And then Next Level. It's the next level. It's like they're from DC now, and then Marvel.
Well, I have to say 2 things. One, I'm glad that DC is branching out from its usual. I wouldn't call it a house style, but
Right.
it's branching out from that.
But it's
2, I'm surprised that they're doing it because they've been stuck on.
Yeah.
And no disrespect, I love Neil Adams, but they've been stuck on that sort of like Neil Adams, George Perez thing for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
No, it's refreshing to look at. It was a bit wordy for me.
Did he write it too, or did someone else write it?
No, this Maxwell Prince guy wrote it. Martin Morazzo. You can find him on Instagram. I'm not going to.
So that's not the artist's fault.
It's not the artist's fault. Yeah,
it's not the artist's fault.
The writer overwrote, and then the artist is trying to accommodate the. But even when his splash pages are just unimpressive, like there's nothing impressive about that. It just it's kind of flat. And it's all one line. He has no line weight.
Mm, I
That's
think he's trying to use the
the
deadline of
the animated line.
called deadline style by Mobius.
Oh yeah,
But see, what people don't understand is when you look at Mobius, he breaks the line up,
yeah.
so it still gives you the line weight,
And then
even
the
though it's
colors
very
are
thin.
overpowering that flat line. The color is overpowered the artwork too.
Yeah, that's usually the Mobius style. But Mobius had a way of sort of breaking up the line where you didn't even realize
Yeah.
that. And then if you rely on color, you got to be really, really good at it.
But
And I
they
mean,
made
really,
him into like a Jim Carrey type of character where he's like changing his outfit every panel. Like it's like he goes
that's
from
the writer.
a to a doctor. It's like
Yeah, I would say that's the writer.
yeah, it's like what the hell? I mean, even the splash page, page 1 should be the most impressive. They use it for an establishing shot, but it's almost like for a sitcom or something. That's page 1.
Yeah.
This Lego ad is more exciting
It's the composition.
than this.
Yeah, it's the composition, the building.
This is more interesting than this.
I mean, he has editors, right?
I mean, look. Oh, talking about editors, there was they misspelled the word eyes. I'm being a little bitch now.
You're really going to town on this poor guy.
They spelled eyes EYS. What? Like what the fuck?
So they have a typo.
Yeah, I've made typos. I'm not perfect, but I am my own editor. I've made my own mistakes, but this is like someone got paid to edit this fucking book.
Yeah.
A
It's
lot
just
of
like,
money.
do you remember the controversy with J. Scott Campbell?
Yeah.
And I think her name's Lionheart or whatever her name is, or Ironheart.
I don't know. Yeah.
And people were very upset. Well, she's 15. He's sexualizing her, and all this other shit.
Right.
That wasn't J. Scott Campbell's fault. That's the editor's fault.
Right. The editor is supposed to like.
Yeah. And that goes for the Milo Monero stuff. That's the editor's fault.
Right. Exactly. I'm
So
just like.
the editor could say, "Nah, come up with something else different," because editors will tell you that shit.
Yeah. And it's easy to make a mistake, especially when you're writing and typing in the bubbles. Usually my mistakes when I'm editing is like I'm changing something in a bubble and then I forget one word, I said like you know what I mean? Like I deleted or over selected and then deleted something that was there.
Sometimes Susie does the lettering. So she's a writer. She's the writer and I'm co-writer, but she does the lettering. But it's very easy to read something over and over again.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss the typo because your brain is telling you.
Is it EYS? like, am I being a picky bitch? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And why am I being a picky bitch? Because I'm a little jelly. They turned down my dead man proposal years ago, but I still see aspects of it emerging in the books years later,
Yeah.
Like this dude looks a lot like the gatekeeper character that I created at In a World Without Superheroes, Yeah, I was smart. I was just like, well, I'm not going to just let these ideas die. I'm going to put them in my own books. So those
smart, create your own.
Yeah, create my own, right? So, and then next week I'll bring those old dead man pages.
Okay.
I compare them to issue 2. So let's hope that the book. I'm going to spend another $4 on the next issue to see. So we'll give them a shot, right? Like, okay,
I mean, it might just start to pick up. You know.
So
I'm just surprised because, man, I remember trying out years ago. They'd be like, "Oh, that's stiff. That's this. That's that.
Right.
All this picky stuff," and then you see other people getting published. And you're like,
"What the fuck?"
And then you find out, oh, you're hanging out, going for coffee with these people. So it's not about talent.
Right. I gotta look at this.
There's a lot of, and there's a lot of people out there who took it to heart, the criticism to heart, and didn't realize that it's just who you know.
bullshit. It's just
Yeah,
like
it's sad.
we don't want you, but it's always good talking to you, Miguel. You and I we see each other once a week, and it's like
Likewise.
I feel like it's not enough time. We could probably do a 12-hour podcast, right? Or 24-hour podcast. We could
We
easily
should try doing see how long we can go before we break
one
day.
I mean,
And
we'll be like the Cory Bookers of podcast.
yeah, and see Fidel Castro, that guy could he gave like a 2-day speech or something crazy.
What?
Nuts, man. I'm a talker, but I don't know if I could do that.
2 days. Like, oh my
It'd
God.
be interesting to try.
Man, oh man.
The marathon.
A marathon.
Yeah, no, it's great. I like doing this on Sundays because it's like a lot of the crap that accumulates over the week and all the crazy shit that you hear.
Yeah.
It's a great way to just talk it out.
Yeah, and go through it. Yeah.
Not driving Susie and my kids crazy.
Right.
Repeating myself on some of the crap that's going out there.
I lost a lot of friends this year.
You got to show them the meme with the cat and the cigarette.
The cat meme.
I've insulted a lot of you. You don't want me to do it again. Fix yourself. Do better. That's what you should just send to all the people that have you've lost as friends through messenger.
Yeah. Oh, and there's one last thing. Actually, I think it's very important. This is a little somber. It's not as fun. I'm sorry, but
nah, no worries.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm that guy.
Be that guy.
I mean, let's see.
Be that guy.
They found this in Palestine.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I think you sent that to me. Yeah.
Putting people in bricks, like just fucking horrific. It's like this
is my thing. We can't call it a war.
No, there's no one fighting back.
Yeah, even if they are fighting back, it's so disproportionate.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a kid fighting back against his father, and the kid's 4. Mm-hmm. Like the strength level, yeah, the kids might be fighting back, but you have a 30-some-year-old dad who's beating the crap out of their 4-year-old.
Right.
That's not a fight. That's abuse. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's just no good. No bueno, man. No bueno.
No bueno.
It is really sad. It is upsetting. But this is the algorithm of colonialism. And people have to recognize it, acknowledge it, don't pretend that it's there. And that's why we've started this show, right? To wake people up and say, look, we
lose friends and family while we're at it.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Fuck them.
At some point, and I could be completely wrong. At some point, things will shift.
Right.
Many of us will have grandkids,
right?
And those grandkids will be like, where did you stand when this shit was happening?
Right. Grandpa, what did you do?
And it's like, I wasn't for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can be like, I was watching the Knicks and the World Cup.
I mean, you can still do that, but still go out and go, screw that shit, right? I mean, we have a lot of time. We have a lot of time to express all those things. And we all need breaks. We all need little entertainment breaks because our brains will break down if
explode.
So
all right, brother. It's always
all
good.
Right, man.
Yeah. Episode 37's in the can. What do we have to do? What do we have to do, Miguel?
Yep.
What do we have to do?
Oh, you gotta punch that button.
That's right.
Hit the like button.
Smash
like
that like
button. Or Muhammad Ali.
Just like and subscribe.
Float like a butterfly and sting that like button like a bee.
Right, there you go.
The apocalypse is coming. Are you scared? Are you prepared? The masses are running, frantically running from their fears, running with their tears, running from their lives, running from that dark shadowed creature that hides deep inside.